Namaste, beloveds. This is Mother with Wisdom, and thank you for joining me. Um, this video is one of great importance. It has to do with what is going on the world stage um, at this particular season and cycle of humanity's accelerated evolution, so to speak. And what we're going to focus in on is spiritual conscious awareness, of course, the expansion of that from um, basically a very limited lack of consciousness into a very intuitive, instinctual, integrative um, spiritual conscious awareness. Okay? And that spiritual conscious awareness is going to basically, this particular video is going to focus on vision and how we see things, how things are perceived, how we receive things, um, in order to discern the wisdom of what is truly going on, both spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, metaphysically, all at the same time, with the understanding of exactly being present and being immersed in what is going on, okay? Fully immersed. And being fully immersed does not mean that you are so attached to what is going on that you are in fear, or that you are paralyzed, or that your emotions are uncontrollably triggered, okay? And that you have no faith in yourself, in humanity, in the outcome of things, and you feel that you're just free flowing in chaos, okay? That is where I want to start from today. And this video is going to be titled Being and Becoming the Great Shepherd. It's going to be rooted in the understanding, in the ancient understanding of what a great shepherd was, what a great shepherd is, what a great shepherd does, and what exactly makes a great shepherd, okay? And I want to start out by saying that a great shepherd becomes great or is great because of content of character, because of the heart-centeredness, because of the integrity and the intent to care, to provide service for the sheep, okay? Understanding that the sheep are, we'll use the word innocent, they are pure, they are like children, and that they need supervision and they need someone to watch out for them and take care of them and to lead and to guide them, okay? Because there are forces that want to prey upon the sheep. There are forces that want to eat them. There are forces that want to scatter them. There are forces that want to influence them, so to speak. And the shepherd, if he is a great shepherd, he must be very conscious and very aware of his environment and the environment of the sheep at all times. And that means he has to have his senses honed. His instincts and his intuition must be, he must be able to be led by those. He must be able to hear them. He must be intimately connected with his instincts and his intuition when it comes to shepherding his sheep. And one of the tools that a shepherd uses is a staff. In the Egyptian school of thought, there is the crook and the flail. These tools, these instruments are used to guide, and they're used to defend, and they're used to lead. And these tools are instrumental in the well-being of the sheep. And the sheep are very familiar with these tools, and they feel comfortable when they see them, when they know that this is what is around them, that they are protected, that they are guarded and guided, and that they are led and they are well taken care of. This is what it means to be a great shepherd, beloveds. A shepherd is in charge of, in the ancient times, your flock of sheep, we'll say. That was your wealth. That was your way of life. That is what sustained you from every single aspect of your existence. It sustained you, the sheep sustained you with eating the meat, the wool, the oil, the hooves, the medicine, everything. Everything was in this one particular animal, okay? And each one of these animals were priceless when it came to the collective, to the whole. Each one was uniquely treasured. The shepherd knew each one intimately because it spent time with it. It got to know it. And it got to know its characteristics. It got to know the sheep's personality. It got to know its stubbornness and its playfulness and everything about that particular sheep. Because this is what was necessary to be a good shepherd. Now, when it comes to being a good shepherd, as you know, I am spiritually inclined, and so my wisdom and my knowledge comes from the study, the research, the recognition of stories and storytelling and the elements of these stories and what they mean, not just on the surface, but spiritually, okay? And what is to be gleaned, what is to be harvested, what is to be used in these stories as relevant revelations, no matter the cycle or season of mankind's evolutionary periods of time that we exist in. These are archetypes. These are ancient forms recognized and charged with very specific frequencies and spectrums. Okay? The shepherd is a very spiritual being who is given a position of caretaker, of leading, of guiding, of taking care of a very valuable asset. If you really want to go deeper into that, look up shepherding, beloveds. Look into it and see what it's all about. Moving forward, what comes to mind for this particular video and this conversation is David from the Bible. David began, we are introduced to David as a young shepherd boy. Okay, he is the youngest of Jesse's sons, and he has been put in a position as a shepherd. He's away from the family. He's out in the land with the sheep. He sleeps with them. He waters them. He takes care of them. When one goes missing, he does what he needs to do. When animals of prey and predators come along, he defends his sheep. He defends them. He defends them. I want to say this right, beloveds, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from and what I'm saying, okay? I want you to understand that David is used as an example of the Great Spirit's heart when he is a young child, because of his conviction, because of his integrity, his determination to protect the sheep. And I want you to understand that I'm going to use some words here that have a lot of history with them for me. But kindness, nice, and merciless and ruthless. Okay? And I want you to understand these words. And I want you to understand how they are all connected and how they are opposites. I want you to look at the frequencies and spectrums of these words and how they coexist for this great shepherd, okay? Now, I want you once again to understand what the position of being a great shepherd entails. It's very serious. Like I said, this is the family's wealth, a great deal of it. And it's being entrusted to a boy to look out for. Basically, it's like giving this boy your younger children to look after while you're doing something else. And this young child has to protect them from predators, okay? He has to form a bond, an intimate connection, a bond, loving bond with these animals, okay? With these sheep. He connects with them. He empathizes with them. He sympathizes with them. They are not just a job to him. They are living souls to him, each with its own personality, each with its own needs and everything about it. And I want you to understand unconditional love that he has for the sheep. And because of this unconditional love, when there is a predator on the scene or around, or his instincts and his intuition tell him to be on alert, he is not going to be kind and nice to the predator. Understand that. He is going to be ruthless and merciless with the predator. Why? Because of the predator's intent to harm the sheep. He understands that. He doesn't take it personal. The predator, whatever animal it is, it's whatever disease it is, whatever situation or circumstances it is not personally upset or have a problem with the shepherd, okay? For whatever reason, the predator is focused solely, simply on attaining the sheep and consuming it in whatever manner it is running off of, its desires are running off of, okay? And in this desire for the sheep, the shepherd is ruthless. There is no negotiating. There is no niceness. There is no, well, let's talk about it. There is no, okay, well, you got this sheep, I'll turn the other cheek and I'll look away and I'll let you can have that one, but you can't have this one, and this is my favorite one. And it's not like that, beloveds. It's not personal. It's not based off of emotions. It's not based off of logic. It is based off of unconditional love. And see, there are things that you will do, and there are things that you will not do because of unconditional love. Unconditional love, you will put your life on the line for what you love. No hesitation, no second thought, no indecision, no, is this right? What's going to happen afterwards? Am I going to be blamed? Blah, 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 blah. What are the consequences? None of that. You are in the moment, and you are taking care of what you love. And you don't care how it looks. And you don't care if somebody, well, you were very brutal to that ant, to the predator. You know, that didn't look nice. That wasn't right the way you did the predator. You didn't have to be that violent. You could have let it go. You didn't have to kill it. Human beings have gotten to the point in our evolution where we overthink and we overcomplicate things. And because we overthink and we overcomplicate things, indecision has given, has broadened the space for things to amplify, to be magnified, to manifest, to happen, to be born, to occur. Instances, situations, circumstances that should not be so, and that were not so in ancient times because they were not allowed to grow. They were not allowed to take root. They were not allowed to become the normal, that it's okay, that it's acceptable, that okay, we'll make an allowance for you. Things were very practical. And because things were very practical, things were very stable, and things were very, you could depend upon it because of the integrity of its existence and how it existed and how it was allowed to exist. And you knew that there were boundaries, parameters. There was a crook and a flail to make sure that everything stayed balanced, stayed intact. And you didn't take things personal when they came up against you. When a predator came, you understood what that predator was, that at first and foremost, it was a predator. You understood what it wanted, and you understood why it wanted it. There was no, well, maybe it just was, it just smelled the sheep and wanted to be friends. Or maybe it had never seen sheep before and it was just curious. No. You recognize that's a predator. And the sheep to this predator is prey. And this predator wants to use force to dominate the sheep. It wants to do what it wants to do with them. And it offers the sheep no say-so in the matter at all. I want you to understand that, I want you to look at the government, the systems that are in place are supposed to be great shepherds. The CEOs, the janitors, the whatever hierarchy there is, each is supposed to be a great shepherd in his position, his or her position. There is a unconditional love of the community, of the collective, not just of the individual. There is a responsibility. The responsibility, we can use the word police. We can use the word protect. We can use the word shepherd. To guide, lead, protect. The shepherd also, how can I say, helps the anxiety of the herd, of the sheep. Okay? It calms the sheep. So the sheep know that they can rely upon the shepherd. There's a symbiotic relationship. It's very intrinsic, it's very real, and it's very practical. And it's very natural. Humanity, mankind, was given dominion over the earth, over the animals, over the elementals, over the nature of this world. And in being this caretaker, this shepherd, this husband, this groom, this mate to the world, you have to provide stability. You have to be able to keep the balance. You have to be able to understand that, yes, there are predators, but you take precautions and you learn the predators and what they do and how they do it and when they hunt and when they come out and their little tricks and everything, in order to make you a better shepherd. And you do this out of the unconditional love of your heart. Not just as, oh, this is my job, and I've got to do this. Why do I've got to do this? No, this is your purpose. This is why you exist. This is what you incarnated for. There is nothing greater. There is no greater purpose than to serve in this capacity. So there is an amount of seriousness and dedication and integrity that is necessary. There is an amount of truthfulness that must happen between all of the natures involved in order for respect to be established and boundaries to be respected. Boundaries will be tested, but consequences must be what consequences must be. And predators learn. There are boundaries you do not cross. There are circumstances. So to establish this as law, to enforce it as a way of life, is to care for the community, is to be responsible for the community. And the community is more than just the people. It is more than just the family. It is the ecological existence of everything existing at that time, and the possibilities of what can be born, what can be seeded, what is encouraged to grow at this time, and also what will not be allowed to prosper, to grow, to take root. There has to be firm decision making. There's no overthinking. There's no room for error, because that error costs life. Cost of life costs livelihood. You're unable to provide. So these sheep are precious. They are more than property. They're more than things that you own. They symbolize something much deeper. Okay, having said all of that, laying it as a foundation, I want to bring us now into the present. Okay? And I want to speak on the assassination attempt of the former president, Donald Trump. Okay? And I want you to understand that there are two shepherds vying for the position as head shepherd in charge, we'll put it that way. The one to take care of the sheep, all in the community. The community is America. Okay? And there are many predators, many different types of predators, many different types of predatory forces that are coming for the sheep. The sheep are the people. You know how you used to play in the church and in the steeple? The sheep are the people. Okay? The people are the innocents. The people are the children. The people are the ones that need taken care of. The people are the ones that need leadership and guidance. The people are the ones that depend upon having a great shepherd. A great shepherd, again, requires heart, mind, spirit connection. Okay? It requires instinct and intuition to serve with integrity of purpose. Morals, standards, values, boundaries, self-discipline is necessary for this position. In this position, again, we have these two men, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And these two men are two very different types of shepherds. When it comes to responsibility, when it comes to personal integrity, when it comes to professional integrity, when it comes to intention, when it comes to the care, the overall care of the sheep, the community. There is no, we value these particular sheep more than we do those particular sheep. And the laws and everything that we're going to pass is basically for these particular sheep here, but not so much for those over there. We look at these sheep, these are the good sheep. These sheep are more valuable than those sheep. So these sheep are our first priority. Their safety, their needs. The other sheep, not so much. That is not how a great shepherd sees, envisions, knows his role. He knows that all of the sheep are priceless. From the youngest to the oldest, male, female, doesn't matter the spots or how pure the wool is or how this and that and that and this. No, they're all equally worthy of shepherding, of his attention. The shepherd goes about with integrity. He does not go around being a trickster. He does not go around making deals with the predators. It does not go around boasting and bragging of its superiority as a shepherd, of its techniques and its skills and its battles and what it has done and on and on, the glory days and so forth and so on. It understands none of that makes a difference because the present is immediate. Danger is immediate. And all is present in any particular moment. And there is a vigilance that is necessary. And that vigilance means you can't be in your head daydreaming about who you are and your grandeur and how your appearance is and how you look and how you sound and what someone else thinks about you. None of that matters to the sheep. None of that matters to your position. What matters is keeping the flock safe. That's it. Keeping them safe, keeping them intact, keeping them healthy. Guiding, guarding, protecting them. That's it. Not what they're going to make you rich by doing this, or what's going to happen, or this girl's going to like you because you watch over 1,000 sheep. Or you watch over 2 sheep. None of that matters. The appearance does not matter. What matters is the heart, the spirit, the integrity, and the connection between all for you to be fully present and fully aware of. And that awareness is your conscious awareness of what your role and what your duty is. And to expand your consciousness on from being a shepherd, being a good shepherd, being a great shepherd, to bring honor to your position, to bring honor to the archetype, to serve. That is what should be first and foremost. In our age of politics, popularity, appearances, personalities, the practicality is sadly missing. The boundaries are often unrecognized, overlooked, and unresponded to. The different cliques and factions and sects and divisions within the community has allowed fracturing, has allowed anxiety to come into play, to be rooted in what should be calm. Existence. And because of these systems taking over as shepherds, the sheep are suffering. Not only are the sheep suffering, but everything that benefits from the sheep, from the community, is suffering. The family unit is suffering. The individual is suffering. The collective is suffering. The male and female relationship is suffering. The parental and child relationship is suffering. And it's all rooted because the great shepherd is not shepherding. Because the predators are preying upon the weakness, the blind spots, the personality, the appearances. And the great shepherd, who was the great shepherd, is no longer as focused on the sheep. He's focused on himself. What he's going to look like. Are people going to think he's a great shepherd? Does he look good in his outfit, his uniform? Is he young? Is he old? What can he get? It's not on the sheep anymore. The objectivity, the subjectivity completely changed. 360 degrees. And so with that shift, the shepherd is no longer in a position of dominance. He is no longer in a position of greatness. He's no longer in a position of integrity and uncompromised integrity. He has been compromised now. And because he has been compromised, there are negotiations going on with the predator. There are looking the other way, turning of the head, being silent, and allowing the predator to encroach, to get closer and closer, to take a certain portion. Oh, we know that we're going to lose a certain portion. That's to be expect it. Nothing can stop it. Blah, 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 blah. No. Great shepherds will not concede even one of their flock. Not one. Not a hair on their chinny chin chin. But we have gotten so... What can we do with the predators? The predator has become bigger, stronger, more intimidating in the psyche and minds of the community than the great shepherd. Meaning the predator is now stronger than the shepherd. So the sheep become the prey. The shepherd becomes the prey. And that builds up and builds up and builds up for generations and generations and generations. And suddenly you have a world where the predators are in charge of the sheep. The predators are breeding the sheep. The predators are in care of the sheep. The predators negotiate for the sale of the sheep and for the breeding of the sheep and for everything else. All because the merciless, ruthless boundary keeping was questioned, was thought to be too ruthless, was thought to be too bloody, was thought to be too mean, wasn't kind enough, wasn't nice. You're not being nice to the predators. You're not being nice. You're not being kind to the predators. Be nice to the predators. Be kind. They can't help that they want the sheep. Be nice to them. Turn the other cheek, look away. When it comes for little Billy Bob the sheep over there, just look away. Count, that's part of your loss. I really want you to understand where this kind of infected thinking, feeling exists. I want you to be able to see it. I want you to be able to hear it. I want you to be able to feel it, and I want it to make your skin crawl. I want you to understand the world you live in is very wicked, and it's full of predators. The community is more full of predators than it is of sheep. You've got sheep pretending to be predators in order to move in certain ways.